another Coffee with Kilroy on a Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, the day where I try to cover something other than war games. And today, I'm doing something very special. I'm starting up a whole new playlist called Western, which will be in other games and stuff in my section down below. It'll also be starting up a new RP West, so that's role-playing Western games, and this is also on, of course, on Sanctuary Sunday and on Coffee with Kilroy. So you can find this in a lot of different areas. This is Boot Hill. This is from 1979, I believe, and this is my original copy of it. I do not have the box. It came in a little box. TSR used to come out with their board games or their role-playing games in a box about that thick. You know, I still have my original D&D box from that period, but not Boot Hill. The box got kind of tore up over time. But I'll show you all the stuff that I got in there. I remember there was probably some dice in there as well. Those are probably long since disintegrated. But why am I starting up with West stuff? Well, you know, I've got a lot of Western games, you know, board games, and also and card games. God, I have a lot of those too. There was a whole collectible card game craze on different Western games that I'll probably get to at some point. But I grew up with Westerns. I grew up with movies and even some Western books. I wasn't as big on reading Western novels like Lewis Lattimore or stuff like that, but my dad was a huge and still is a huge Western fan. His favorite all-time actor is John Wayne, and I think he owns every single John Wayne movie ever made. Buys those like box sets and what have you, or my mom buys him those box sets. So big time Duke fan, but he lugs all the classics, Randolph Scott, and oh god, it goes on and on about all the different Westerns he likes. But and I'll probably do a Kilroy Goes to the Movie talking about Westerns at some point, but not today, because you know, this is about Boot Hill. And what is Boot Hill? Well, it's a role-playing game of the Wild West. So let me get a sip of my coffee here, not to spill on this map, which came along with the game. So you can look here. There's two sides to this map. This is Boot Hill, TSR, 1979, and this was the area that you played in around the in the West, the territory you were in, and you got Promise City and all kinds of stuff here, so you can map out kind of what was going on. Very small hexes, the smallest hexes I think I've ever seen. And then on the other side, this is what I end up using the most, or what people probably end up using the most, is, you know, Main Street in Boot Hill, right? So you've got all the buildings, so you can put, I can't remember if there was counters that came in this. If there were counters, I probably have them somewhere, but they're probably packed away somewhere. But you had a grid to keep track of where your characters were, or what they were doing, and how they interacted. So it was an interesting you know, system, and it kind of reminds me of what was the old Avalon Hill's Gunslinger. You know, I think I played that once. I never owned it, but there's a new one that kind of is reminiscent of this and Gunslinger, which is Cowboys by Worthington Games, and I have that, and I think there's like two versions of it, or a sequel to it, and I'll probably cover that at some point as well, now that I've created a Western playlist. So look at Western under my playlist down below, or RP West, to get into all that kind of stuff. This is role-playing, so it's your typical role-playing game that came out after D&D, and it is all about, well, let's do the very, very intro there. So there is your intro to the game. Rules for playing games and campaigns of the Wild West on a man-to-man scale. So there's quite a bit of man-to-man combat in here. And what you're going to see in this game is kind of all the attributes you're going to see in a regular role-playing game. Let's go a little bit closer there. You have speed. Speed's very important because, this is all about quick draw, right? So speed and experience, gun accuracy, strength, and bravery. Those are some of your key characteristics there. Don't have the wisdom and constitution and all that other stuff, but these are some of the key characteristics that you're going to need. And of course, being a quick draw is very important, but you also need to be accurate as well in the Old West. Your price chart, here's your turn sequence, for combat, so you got movement and combat. Here's your weapons chart, as you can see right there. Knife, tomahawk, derringer, scattergun, Civil War rifle, Civil War carbine. The fast draw revolver, FDR, is the thing that you wanted to have if you were a gunslinger of sort. There's your different patterns between a shotgun and a rifle and stuff like that. Or that's a shotgun. I think this is a scattergun, maybe. Hit determination charts here, where you got hit. So this really focused a lot more on the combat aspects of Wild West, and it was more of a man-to-man kind of combat and tactics in the Wild West with those kind of weapons and with your skills of speed and accuracy. Here's your brawling chart, your grappling table, and then you had advanced rules. Then you had optional rules that you could get into. Injury from dynamite explosion, Gatling guns. That was always one of my trying to get a hold of one of those. And you could play either side. You could be a sheriff or a lawman or a gunslinger or a bandit. Or you could kind of pick whatever you want. They didn't have separate classes. The way you rolled up characters were, let's get one of the character sheets here. This is the character sheet. I think I cut this out. I think this might have been in the back. Then it was perf maybe. But here's your character sheet. So you can pick your occupation. There weren't classes. They just had these basic characteristics of your speed, gun accuracy, throwing accuracy, personal bravery, strength, and experience. And that's it. There was no separate classes that you did. And you keep track of all your weapons and your items, and there you have it. I actually have one from hopefully I don't out one of my friends here. But this was I made a sheet. You can see the old look how old that is. That looks like it's like from that the old purple or blue copy machine. What are those things called? I think I might have used that at one point. Interesting. That's from 1979, 1980. Maybe 81 at the latest. But I had a copy of one of my friends' characters here. Didn't draw out his character there, but you're going to roll percentile dice. So this probably had percentile dice. Like in Top Secret, I think I've covered Top Secret already. It came with a pink and a white die that was, if you roll it enough, it just became like a round ball. I think those might have been the dice that came with this too. But you roll in a percentile and what your different characteristics are. Then he had a fast draw revolver, six shooter, a knife, what was that, a buffalo rifle, and a Civil War rifle. I think that's what that is. And then you put all your characteristics down, because this is very much combat based. And a lot of your encounters were combat. There's all the stuff you bought. Anyway, so the adventures are what you make them up. I mean, this is the basic rules. I end up getting one module, and I'll cover that separately. But I think they came out with a few here. I don't think this was like unsupported. I think they came out with quite a bit of content. I just didn't follow. I got this. I got the one module. Played a little bit, but then not all my friends were as interested in the Old West as I was. So we were playing Traveler and Dungeons and Dragons most of the time. You also had a miscellaneous character chart here. Then you had the fastest guns that ever lived. So this is kind of a little bit of history here. That was kind of interesting that they had in here. That they had all these, actual people and had them ranked or rated based on their different capabilities. So you could kind of go up against some of these guys or throw them into the mix. Guys and gals. I imagine there's some in here as well. And do a quick draw with them, right? And see what happens. So there was quite a bit of that in there. And then you had some appendices here talking about the town, fictional non-player characters. So if you just wanted to throw in some NPCs into the mix, they were in here. Here is a campaign scenario, Promise City and El Dorado County. So then it's on that flip side of that map there, and talks a little bit about that. And so that was it. That's all you got in the box. Not a lot. I think they came out with other versions of this or reprinted it or republished it, but there wasn't a whole lot in the box for this. There's another thing I cut out on the back here. You had kind of a player aid here, which is all your weapons chart, your movement, fire, shot determination, hit determination, and then of course your brawling, wound table, grappling table, stunning table, all that kind of stuff. This was kind of just a player reference that went along with it. So yeah, there wasn't, this was really left up to your imagination. Now, the beauty of Boot Hill and not having a lot of source material in there is, we grew up with Westerns, or there's tons of Westerns. There's 100 years of Westerns that you can watch. And there was a little bit of Westerns have a tendency to come back every once in a while. They don't come back as strong as they ever were, but they come back a little bit. Every once in a while you'll see, Kevin Costner or Russell Crowe or somebody come back with another Western and revitalize the genre a little bit. So there's a lot of source material out there just watching movies, and if you were a reader, there was a lot of Old West authors that try to bring the West to life as well. So you don't need a ton of source material, because you can just go watch a movie and get a lot of the same tropes that are there again, which reminds me that I need to do a coffee with Kilroy Goes to Movies. That's what I need to do on just Westerns at some point. Anyway, there you have it. This is Boot Hill. So this is launching my RP West and my Western tag. I have a few other role-playing stuff to come under here, but I also have some board games that I'll eventually will get to over time. I've got quite a bit of Western board games, or when I say Western, sometimes they're very strongly themed Western, or sometimes the theme is kind of painted on, but they're Western no less. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Love to know your thoughts. Did you play Boot Hill? What did you think about Boot Hill? What did you tell us about the other iterations that came after this? This was the original back in '79 at least, and love to know your thoughts on it. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and enjoy your coffee and enjoy your day. And if you're watching this in the evening, I hope you had a good day, and here's looking towards tomorrow. Take care. Thanks for watching.